गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दना व्रजजनरञ्जना यशोदनन्दना यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जना यशोदानन्दन रञ्जन यमुनातिरवनचारी 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 जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे जय गांधर्विका गिरिधारी गांधर्विका गिरिधारी गौर हरि गांधर्विका गिरिधारी गौर हरि जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय अनंत देव 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद। नाम संकीर्तन की जय। शशिकांत गिरधारी श्रीमान महाप्रभु की जय। प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नश्च प्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 2, Shloka number 16. न त्वां त्यजामि दयितं द्विजदेव दत्तं यस्मिन् मनोदृगपिनो न व्ययाति लग्नम् मां चारुशृङ्गर्षयिनेतुमनुव्रतं ते चित्तं यथा प्रतिसरन्तु शिव्या सचिव्या न त्वां त्यजामि दयितं द्विजदेव दत्तं यस्मिन् मनोदृगपिनो न वियाति लग्नम् मां चारुशृङ्गर्ह्यसि नेतुमनुव्रतं ते चित्तं यतः प्रतिसरन्तु शिवाः सचिव्यः। One more time. न त्वां त्यजामि दयितं द्विजदेव दत्तं यस्मिन् मनोदृगपिनो न वियाति लग्नम् मां चारुशृङ्गर्षि नेतुमनुव्रतं ते चित्तं यत प्रतिसरन्तु शिवाः सचिव्यः।
न त्वां त्यजामि दयितं द्विजदेव दत्तं
न त्वां त्यजामि दयितं द्विजदेव दत्तं
यस्मिन् मनोदृगपिनो न वियाति लग्नम्
यस्मिन् मनोदृगपिनो न वियाति लग्नम्
मां चारुशृङ्गर्हसिनेतुमनुव्रतं ते
मां चारुशृङ्गर्षिनेतुमनुव्रतं ते
चित्तं यतः प्रतिसरन्तु शिवाः सचिव्यः
चित्तं यतः प्रतिसरन्तु शिवाः सचिव्यः। न not tvam you त्यजामि I shall give up daitam very dear dvijadeva by Lord Brahma the demigod worshipped by Brahmanas dattam given yasmin unto whom manaha mind Drake, eyes. Api, also. Naha, my. Na, Vyati. Sorry, Na Vyati, do not go away. Lagnam, tightly attached. Mam, may. Charu Shringi, O woman, with raised, with beautiful raised breasts. Arhasi, you ought. Netum, to lead. Anuvratam, follower. Te, your. Chetam, desire. Yataha, wherever. Pratisarantu, may follow. Shivaha, favorable. Sachivyaha, friends. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Lord Brahma, who is worshipped by the Brahmanas, has very mercifully given you to me, and that is why I have met you. I do not want to give up your company, for my mind and eyes are fixed upon you and cannot be drawn away. O woman with beautiful raised breasts, I am your follower. You may take me wherever you like, and your friends may also follow me. Purport. Now, Agnidhara frankly admits his weakness. He was attached to Purvachitti, and therefore she could say, "But I have no business with you." He expressed his desire to be united with her. He was so attracted that he was ready to go anywhere, hell or heaven, in her company. When no one is absorbed, when one is absorbed in lust and the influences and the influence of sex, one surrenders to the feet of woman without reservation. Srila Madhvacharya remarks in this connection that when one engages in joking and talking with like a crazy person, one may say anything and everything, but his words will be meaningless. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरोन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरो वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So today I am requested here to speak, but it's very difficult words to talk on. But just to please the superiors, authorities, and to please all of you. I'm just going to present some words that I have collected from the devotees, their speeches, Srila Prabhupada's classes, Srila Prabhupada's books. I try to present it here in front of all of you. So please bless me so that I will be successful in my endeavor. Hare Krishna. Okay. Here we are seeing the pastime of uh, King Agnidhra. Agnidhra is the son of very virtuous person, but being is a consciousness which is attached to sense gratification. He is there to um, he is inclined to get his position into Pitraloka. And to get the position into Pitraloka, he needs to have a son. He's a very nice king. Not like that he is any kind of a common king. He's a great king. He was the eldest son, and he was given the biggest kingdom, biggest part of his father's kingdom, Jambudvipa. And he was ruling it very nicely. But his mind was attached to get into the Pitruloka and have the enjoyment there. He started doing tapasya to get a proper wife. One important thing we can see here, of course, he was a king and he can get married to anybody and any princess around. But important thing is that he understands if he wants to get a proper match, he has to do tapasya. He wants to get married in a lawful way and in a proper virtuous way. So he's doing tapasya, and while doing tapasya, there's an apsara, very one of the biggest, highest class of apsara. She comes and starts roaming around there, and he gets distracted with that. And of course, when he gets infatuated and distracted with that, with the beauty of apsara, he starts speaking into a way, the way which is sufficient, is a which is befitting to a fool. It is said into a I don't know what is the source of this shloka. It says कि अर्थातुराणाम न सुरुन न बंधु कामातुराणाम न bhayam na lajja. One who is infatuated with the desire for money, he doesn't have brother and no friends. And the person who is lusty, he doesn't have any fear, no no shame. So he starts speaking in such and different ways. He started glorifying this Apsara Purvachitti into different ways. It starts describing her different. He starts glorifying her different body parts even, and starts flattering her. And as yesterday Prabhuji was telling, he compares. I heard in a Kartik Prabhu's class. So he compares Agnidhra compares the body parts of this material lady to the divine body parts of the Lord. Like yesterday, last sloka I was explaining her ears to be like a wide eyes of Lord Vishnu. Where is the comparison with the beautiful transcendental eyes of the Lord with her ears? No, we cannot compare. But because of his infatuation, he is comparing this beautiful transcendental beauty of the Lord with the mundane beauty of Apsara. Of course, Apsara is not like any common beauty what we see in the world. She is beautiful, definitely. But still, there is no comparison with the mundane beauty with the Lord's beauty. And that's how his words are becoming meaningless, like Madhvacharya mentions here. The person who is a crazy or person who is fool, there is no guarantee that what he will say. There is a verse called, एक saying है, what goat will eat and what fool will speak, nobody can claim. What goat will eat, goat can eat anything and fool can speak anything. So, like he is speaking from any direction, all the directions. He is speaking all the nonsense there, and which is having no meaning at all. and he's flirting. He's flirting with this lusty, and he's he's a powerful, majestic king. He has won the whole kingdom, but still he is ready to bow down in front of a woman. Woman is weak. What is the power of a comparison of Kshatriya man and a woman? There is no comparison. He can defeat her like, but still he is falling at his knees in front of a woman. Yet it is said, you know, a king may be conqueror of the whole world, but at home he is at his knees, at his wheel of his wife. So it is happening here, same thing. The woman, this Purvachiti is making a lamb out of the powerful king. So he is ready to follow, ready to do anything, whatever his wife wants, whatever Purvachiti wants. He is ready. He is falling at her feet. So woman with her beauty, with her prowess, she can conquer the conqueror of the worlds. We have seen in the history also, the Cleopatra won the kingdoms with her beauty. In the same way, there are so many different examples you can find out from the history. So this is the prowess of a woman's beauty. When one man is infatuated with that, even if he is a world winner, world conqueror, it becomes useless. He becomes captivated by women. So of course, to have the lust is the actually the driving force of the world. If it is rightly said in the Shastras that lust is the driving force of the world. Even Sigmund Freud has mentioned this in his literature. Yes, lust is a driving force. The whole world is driven by the lust. Even whatever material progress we can see in this world, whatever economic progress has to happen, the people have to be infatuated with the lust. Yesterday I was going with Vivam Prabhu and Charu Prabhu for pass distribution few days back, and we were standing in front of one company. What is that? Accenture, right? And it was leaving time. People were coming out, and all girls were coming out. And we were thinking we'll be registering boys there, and all girls were only coming. So we think, "Arey, company में कोई लड़का है कि नहीं है?" So we're wondering. We weren't able to say distribute any passes there. So we had to run away, of course, to save ourselves. So we ran away somewhere else and we distribute passes. Others. Yes, but see, practically it is seen that the company is also knowing that if you have to increase the productivity of the company, they have to make people work hard. They have to have the good number of girls into the company. The girls-boys ratio they maintain. And of course, there are only boys who are working actually. One of my colleague, she's a manager. And she was telling Prabhuji, मेरी company, मेरी team में सारे लड़के ही हैं. Why Mataji? Why is like that? She said, boys are the only who are working hard. Girls don't work at all. So she's also comfortable to work with the boys, but still company keeps the girls. Why? Because they see the girls, they work hard. It is the it is a Sigmund Freud's theory coming in true, because it's the lust which is driving the whole world. There is a remembrance by one Maharaj. I forgot his name. So he was telling once there was discussion with Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada was in New York. He was talking to this Maharaj. Was telling, do you see why there are tall buildings in New York? Why there are tall buildings in New York? He was wondering, why there's one? No, Prabhupada, I can't say why that people are progressing and other things. What they'll say? New York women are very beautiful, aren't they? New York ladies are very beautiful, and they are the controlling these men, and that's why this New York is progressing. And Krishna Prabhupada is talking about so nice things happening in New York, and just because how women are controlling people, how women are controlling the men. And then at the end Prabhupada says, this is all Vishnu Maya. He's connecting everything. Of course, Prabhupada is such a kind of a person. He is connecting everything. Even the lusty thing in the world is connecting to Krishna. He's seeing the vision that he has. He says, this is all Vishnu Maya. This is the Maya which is making people work hard. So of course, Maya is very, very tough to overcome. This is the attraction between men and women is a driving force for the things to happen. Of course, it's not like that men are only infatuated by women. Women are also infatuated by men. It is equal and opposite. Yes, both of them have lust. Both of them are victim of lust, men and women. It's not like that. Ki men are only the. Of course, definitely, um, men are attracted to women are attracted to men, and men are, both are like, negative and positive, like poles of the magnet. When they are away from each other, they are properly disposed to Krishna. They are talking. They are nicely devotional. They are properly executing the devotional service. As soon as they both come together, they forget Krishna. They get at each other. That's all. And this is what is happening. Hmm? Women are good devotee, men are good devotee, but put them together, gone. Hmm? Either they will start fighting each other, or they will get involved into each other. They will forget devotional activities at all. So it's very dangerous, to have that kind of association. That's why it is said that we should not have association of the opposite gender. Hmm? Of course, it is equal to the woman also. But when we both put both of them together, the most the person who will lose most is the men only. Women, they can control themselves and balance themselves, but men are the one who are at the greatest loss. Hmm. Why it is like that? I was reading from Srimad Bhagavatam one day, from second canto. I think I forgot a chapter number, but it is said that yes, of course this is going to be a brahmachari class, but fine. So it is mentioned that Prabhupada was mentioned in the purport. Yes, if somebody successfully stays brahmachari for his whole life, just brahmachari, he's not talking about any devotional things at all, just simply stays brahmachari, there are great chances that he will enter into Vaikuntha. There is great chances that he will enter into Vaikuntha. Even if we मतलब टूटा मोटा भक्ति भी कर ले, there is a great chances that he will reach to Vaikuntha. So if somebody just loses that, if somebody forgets that, loses that opportunity, difficult. Of course, at the end of the purport, Prabhupada mentions, of course, Prabhupada knows that when he Grasthas also reading this purport, he says, don't worry, your gates to Vaikuntha are not closed for Grasthas also. You can enter the Vaikuntha with the help of elevated Vaishnavas and pure devotees. Taking their shelter, people can go, of course. So the paths to Vaikuntha are not closed for women also, but yeah, they have to take shelter of Guru properly. Okay, so that's about brahmacharya. Yeah, that's the thing. Ki, of course, we are talking about how men are getting at loss. As soon as he leaves, leaves his chastity. Of course, chastity is the power for the woman, and brahmacharya is power for the man. The man is become powerful by virtue of his brahmacharya, and woman becomes powerful by the virtue of her chastity. As soon as brahmachari, the way it is said that the way woman maintains her chastity, boy has to maintain his brahmacharya so carefully. If he fails, the unchaste woman is not respected in the world, and the boy who is handpicked is not respected into society also. It's very important to control our senses. But whole world, you can see, even if we have to say we are talking about our sense gratification and control of the senses and all these things, the whole world is full of so much is gratification here. Why so? A whole world is full of driving by the lust, and people say ki, it is said that dukhalaya shashvat and all these things, but as soon as we go out of the Bangalore in the cities, kaha dukh hai bhai? We don't see dukha at all. People are so happily enjoying and this and that, vagera, vagera. Why there is so much enjoyment in this world? We are seeing it. So it's very difficult to believe that this is dukhalaya shashvatam. But yes, this is the superficial happiness that we are seeing it. What you talk about the lust and everything, it is just a superficial happiness. It is there. The lust and the happiness that we are seeing in this world is just the first layer. The the enjoyment of sex is called as itch. Remember, itch. And much you scratch, you feel it to be scratching, and you feel it. Yes, I should scratch. But what happens? As soon as surface goes, it starts paining and becomes wound there. And it starts bleeding. So material happiness is like that. At superficially it sees, oh my god, such a kind of happiness. These boys and girls are just enjoying so nicely with each other, and there's so much to enjoy in this world. But as soon as we dive deep, this is all infatuated with so much pain within. Hmm? So we are seeing the happy faces laughing, but under the surface, under the hood, it is just a pain. Hmm? So there is no, because this whole world, of course, Krishna has mentioned that this is a dukkhalama shashvatam. There is a dukkha always there, and of course, it is just a superficial. Hmm? So, but when somebody who is infatuated with this superficial, this one, he will not able to progress into spiritual world. People talk about, अरे आपके मंदिरों में भी तो इतने सारे मतलब न्यूडिटीज आर इज मेंशन देयर एंड ऑल दिस है ना, खजुराहो वगैरह वगैरह. This is why it is so much nudities displayed. It is just to find, मतलब it is just to depict that कि all these things is superficial. Inside there is a peace and tranquility. This is the Garbhagriha inside is very much peaceful and so tranquil inside. But only and only superficial on the outer surface is just because of when somebody transcend these things, transcend this superficial lust, all this, and he can get the tranquility within. So if you have to get a tranquility, you have to overcome this small portion. Hmm? At least one we have to, at least we have to decide at least one thing. Only at least this one life, let me stay a brahmachari. You know, there is so much chances that we'll get, but at least let me live this life with proper consciousness, and I will uh, you know, let me give one chance at least for spirituality. You know. So how to overcome this attraction when a question comes? Of course, Prabhupada mentions that this is the world, this is the Kali Yuga, is not susceptible, not um, favorable for sannyasa, not favorable for this renounced life. But still, Prabhupada is giving sannyasa to so many people. Prabhupada says, yes, there will be casualties into our mission. That so many people will not be able to survive. Nobody, some will take up this renounced life, and sometimes they will fall. There will be casualties because we are at war with Maya. You have to understand, this whole world is, we are there struggling and fighting with Maya. This world is, we are in the war, and casualties will happen. And how to survive? Survival is just by the taking shelter. Taking shelter of what? Taking shelter of instruction of Guru, Prasad, and the devotees. So these things, if we take shelter, we can survive. Of course, it's not like that we are not going to survive here. This is very good chances if we are stick to, we are taking hold of this, the shelter of Guru's lotus feet. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Vishaya vinivartante niraharisya dehina rasavarjam rasopesya param drishtva nivartate. This is a principle, this is an instruction that we can stick on. If we have to overcome this problem of lust, we have to have the higher taste. More we are dwelled into lower tastes, more there is the chances of fall down. More we go deep, more we go the higher taste, more we take the higher taste, our senses can be controlled. Hmm? So, of course, there is a story of Vilubhagal Thakura. Vilubhagal Thakur was a rich man's son, and he was so much into the sense gratification, he was infatuated with a prostitute. And so that such and such that he dived into water and took the help of a dead corpse and crossed the ocean, crossed the storming river, and went to the meet that prostitute. And prostitute was telling, if you are so much attracted to me, if the same attraction would have been for Krishna, you would have crossed the material ocean. Hmm? He understands immediately. His eyes are opened. Yes, what is it I am doing? He immediately accepts that prostitute as his guru, and takes a renounced life and starts walking towards Vrindavan. But of course, this realization is not so sufficient. Again, he gets attracted to a woman, and that time he decides to give up his eyes. Hmm. So of course, even after that, he starts walking towards Vrindavan, and then he starts engaging himself into singing sweet glories of the Lord because he had that gift. And Beluvagal Thakur starts singing the glories, and because of that, Krishna starts personally playing with him. Beluvagal Thakur, he takes association of the Lord. Sometimes Krishna comes with him, takes plays with him, gives milk to him, and sometimes he embraces him, and sometimes he just escapes from his hands and runs here and there. And Beluvagal Thakur uh, cries, Thakur then prays to Krishna, you have escaped from my hands, but how can you escape from the tight embrace of my heart? So you are always there, locked up in a heart. How you can live? So this is the way how to get engaged. When somebody gets engaged into the higher taste of spirituality, higher taste of Krishna's Leela, pastimes, Krishna's holy name, then he can easily overcome this infatuation of lust. So the rasavarjam rasopesa, we have to get into the higher taste. Until we get that higher taste, we cannot overcome this problem of lust. Okay. That's all for today. Yeah, of course, this is what I made. And any devotees have some comments on this topic, you can questions.
Recently, completed 10 years in Brahmacharya ashram. So what is inspiring you to stay in Brahmacharya ashram? Today you spoke about being in Brahmacharya ashram for a lifetime. So what inspired you to stay here? And in this world, as you rightly said, the other side of the leaf is always blue. But still you remain in Brahmacharya ashram for 10 years. So what inspired you? What the switch? Instead of us, we are neophytes here.
Okay, difficult question. Need a lot of meditation on this. What inspired? Of course, this is only one thing. Or not just one thing. There are so many things which, whenever there is a difficulty, whenever there is a difficulty, and whenever there is a the weak moment comes, only thing saved me is the instructions of superiors, instruction of the gurus, and all whatever instructions that I have collected in my all brahmachari life. So there's a so many devotees contributions for that. So I remember that, and that saves me. Whenever there is a weak moment in my life, when weak emotions comes, so the instructions of them, they will save me. Only I remember sometimes we get that kind of a thing idea ki, let me give it up, and the whole world is so nice, let me go out and all these things, that kind of moment will come up. In the beginning days I met one sannyasi, Bhakti Vasudeva Goswami Maharaj. So he's an African sannyasi, he's preaches in Africa. He came to Delhi sometimes, and that time I asked what any instructions. He's telling, that time he told, whenever you get this kind of a moment, imagine and remember what all things you have sacrificed in the life to get this life, the brahmachari life, and what all things you have sacrificed, and remember again all those things, for what all things you have sacrificed. You have sacrificed all this material world for what? You would have that full list. You should have that all these inspirations, and you remember all these things, and automatically this thought of giving up will go away. So it's very important to always keep those things in a heart which inspires. This all list should be there. And of course, one important thing is that even my all Grasta colleagues, they will keep on inspiring me. They always keep on inspiring me. Prabhuji, whatever happens, please don't give up. There is nothing green here. There is nothing green here. So one devotee was who in my class, he used to come. He used to tell Prabhuji, कुछ भी हो जाए छोड़ना नहीं गुरुजी, अगर कुछ गलती है ना मेरे साथ के बात करना, I will convince you that there is nothing good here. So yes, of course we are seeing their hardships to maintain their family life, maintain the children and growing up and all these things, all these stuffs. But yes, You can see brahmacharya life is much better and easy, at least for the spiritual life. Hare Krishna.
Questions? Share points.
Yeah.
That might.
So this very nice point that how lust is the driving force of the world, and everything happens in this world because of lust, and also the aspect of how when it is not possible to maintain renounced order in Kali Yuga, but we can survive by taking shelter of Guru, Prasadam and devotees. That's nice, and also the point that you shared about how to stay in Brahmacharya ashram, renounced ashram for a long time. It's by remembering the instructions of the superiors. So, and also that Maharaj's instruction is quite nice. That what all it took for us to come here and for what we have sacrificed all these things. So something really which inspired us. That's why we sacrificed. So that's also very nice point. Very good.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you for an inspiring class. It's a nice meditation. Let me give this life in Brahmacharya ashram to practice bhakti. That's a very nice meditation, and the answer that you gave for my question also is very nice. So meditating on the instructions, in the tough time, meditating on the instructions that we have received from our superiors, and as Prabhuji now mentioned the point, so I would also like to repeat. So for what all we sacrificed and for what we sacrificed, that's a very nice meditation, so that we can intensely practice bhakti and keep moving on this wonderful path with all blissful people like yourself. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I noted down very few points. One is so the power of men is celibacy and power of women is chastity. That is very important. So the and then this how to overcome this attraction, uh, taking shelter of Guru's lotus feet and prasadam, and when we have a higher taste in the holy name and Krishna, so we can easily overcome. This is the point I note down, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for this wonderful class. Once I heard in a Prabhupada lecture that devotee can feel inspired simply by in the association of devotees doing the angas of bhakti. Every day when we come for Bhagavatam class and when we hear, it gives us practical inspiration. At least in my case, I get hope that at least today I can survive. So I take life bit by bit. So I hope that I want to attend Bhagavatam class every day and get inspired and remain safe for that day. नेक्स्ट दिन का अगले दिन देख लेंगे भागवतम क्लास में फिर से. When I was hearing your class, I was getting this verse in my mind. Kaler dosh nidhe rajan asti hi eko mahan guna kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha param vrajete. So like you said, this Kali Yuga is not favorable for renunciation, but there is a very great quality in Kali Yuga. Simply by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. One gets liberated from all kinds of inauspiciousness by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, and one attains the supreme abode of Krishna. So that is the biggest hope. I was reading in that book Prabhupada Memories. One devotee stands up in the class and asks Prabhupada that, Prabhupada, what to do if someone is too much disturbed by, agitated by the opposite gender? So Prabhupada replied, just chant more. So that was a very, very powerful instruction, I feel. And this instruction can save the whole world, I feel. So, unfortunately, I've not understood the depth of this instruction. But I'm trying to understand. Just like when it starts, you were talking about weak moments. So, there's no one in this world except Narayan who has no weak moments. So, everybody will have weak moments. The difference between a sincere devotee and a not sincere devotee is that a sincere devotee uh, tries his best to chant Hare Krishna in all circumstances and follow the instructions. He is unfailing in all circumstances by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. Just like when it starts raining or when it starts thundering and raining, all one has to do is to enter their house and sit there for some time. And then the rain and thunder will stop, and then one can go out and do whatever they want. So, similarly, weak moments will come, but in those moments, if only for some time, not for eternity also, if one can take shelter like what you said, instructions of the superiors and chanting of Hare Krishna, then everything is possible. One can continue to serve Guru and Krishna. So thank you very much for inspiring us today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for such a nice class. So some of the points are like this world is being driven by the lust, and it's not like only men are attracted to women. Even women are also attracted to the men. And for a brahmachari, celibacy life or brahmacharya is very important, and for a woman, chastity is very important, or else it's difficult to progress in the society, to uh, be recognized by the society as a nice man. And as you said, like to sustain in brahmachari life, so when there will be no like there will be always kind of tug of war between the Maya and brahmacharya. So the safe there is always chance where we may get allured by or disturbed by so many other things in this material world. But the safest way is like to take shelter at the lotus feet of Guru and Krishna and follow the instructions and remain there all the time and always try to meditate, especially when we are disturbed or feeling very low. Then just recollect those things like instructions of the Guru and senior devotees and taking their guidance, we may be saved, or else it will be difficult, we'll be carried away. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So as you mentioned, very nice point that lust is the driving force for this material world, and in the purport also it was as given that it drives a man crazy or woman, anyone crazy, and they are ready to do anything just for satisfying that lust. So this was a very nice point, and we need to, whenever we are in trouble, we need to take shelter of the instructions of our superiors that can save us from that time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, bro. Thank you so much for nice class. So I can say like one point is like when someone is get the higher taste, then only he can overcome from all the material desires. And second part is like whenever we are feeling some weakness, so in that time we will take the shelter of Guru and Krishna, then only we can overcome that issues. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for a wonderful class and inspiring. So this point which you mentioned, that in history we can see that there are people who conquered the worlds, even they were conquered by women. So I'm just thinking about myself, how insignificant. What about me? So the only thing is just taking the shelter of instructions of Guru, superiors, and then meditating on this point. Whenever the thought comes, about living or what. So I have to meditate for what I have sacrificed, and this point will really help me. And chanting more and more rounds, this will really help to end fixing myself conviction that this one life for Krishna and to be as a brahmachari. So very nice points, Prabhuji. I'll try to meditate on these points. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. First of all, thank you for the essential class that is needed for the brahmacharis and brahmachari aspirants. In the class, you mentioned that this world is driven by lustiness, and it is also clearly visible in the Bangalore or anywhere itself. And you mentioned one point, the solution is like we have to dwell more and more in higher taste of bhakti. Today morning also we are hearing Prabhupada lecture. In that Prabhupada is discussing about the same point, like he gave the example of Ajamil and Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur went from the Sattva Gun to Shuddha Sattva by chanting more and more. So you are also mentioning the same point. So that is what I am meditating on, dwelling in the higher taste of the bhakti. That will remove us from lustness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the very inspiring class. A couple of points I noted down. We spoke about how powerful, how great the power is of the lusty desires. How even a woman can bring down a person to his knees. A great Kshatriya like Agnitra was brought down to his knees. So we see that being intoxicated by the attractions of the material world, one may even compare to the sense objects to the divine. Like you said, he compared parts of the body of Purvachiti to the Lord's eyes. So, and there's a very nice thing where you mentioned even if someone stays a brahmachari his entire life, even without devotional service, there is a small chance of him going to Vaikuntha. So it gives a lot of hopes. Thank you so much for giving so much hope. So you gave us this hope, like me the hope. You gave me the hope, and like you said, we must take this opportunity that we have this life. We had so many opportunities in the past, in the previous lives, but now we have this opportunity to take the shelter of the Guru, the scriptures, take shelter of the Lord. We have now come to this platform where we know that this is the goal of life, so we must take this opportunity. So I must take this opportunity this life has given me to purify my consciousness and go back to Godhead. And like you said, the shelter of the instructions of Guru, honoring prasadam and association of devotees will help keep me protected from the onslaught of this material world. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। बताए कि कैसे हम अगर कोई हायर स्टेज हमको मिल रहा है तो हम ये जो लस्ट डिजायर से कैसे ओवरकम निकल सकते हैं, और अपने अच्छे से एग्जाम्पल दिया कि अभी टेम्पल में बहुत सारा जो चारों तरफ रहता है, बहुत सारा फोटो रहता है, वो डेटीज बनाते हैं, बट हम जब गर्भगृह में एंट्री करते हैं तो उसका फीलिंग कुछ अलग रहता है और बाहर का कुछ अलग रहता है। हरे कृष्ण।
Like this point only, like one has to surpass this like temporary, like which whenever some weak moments come, like or that whatever, one has to overcome this, and then like as you told, like in similar like Khajuraho temples, like inside the real substance is waiting, like so then only we will get peace and tranquility by not satisfying the superficial things.
Disclaimer. Whenever I am talking about Prabhuji, if somebody Mataji is listening, they should listen. That's a Mataji, and Mataji's word is there, is a Prabhuji, you should listen. This is vice versa. These instructions are both. You know? Because everybody is arriving in the same place, even though we are into different bodies. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai.